A 401k, Anyway, this Clinton advisor says yes, yes, yes. Take a look.
I propose, and I did last week in an op-ed to the New York Times, that the Congress allow workers to swap out their 401k assets for a guaranteed retirement account that will be composed of the equivalent of government bonds.
All right, that was then, but now reports that she is on Hillary Clinton's economic advisor's short list. Katherine Timpf says that a Hillary win could put Uncle Sam in charge of your retirement, but Lee Carter's okay with that government involvement. All right, Katherine, you first. What do you make of what she intimated then, intimating now?
Right. Well, first of all, I'm not surprised if Hillary Clinton took this on. She's very open about a complete disrespect for free market anything. She says she doesn't think corporations make jobs, which is ridiculous, obviously.
Well,
but,
she could be making a bow to the left to get...
Of course. But let's just, make another government program because they're so efficient, they're not expensive, and just remove another incentive for people to be successful. She admits with this that this will be essentially kind of like a tax hike on people that are doing well for themselves. And eventually people are going to say, you know what, whatever. I don't know about it with it totally, but the idea that if you do well, you're going to be punished for it.
I always think that she was frozen in that moment, and that was a moment right in the middle of a meltdown, and obviously a lot of people had lost all their savings, and so the argument was the last thing you want to do is have everything hitched to the market, forgetting the fact that over time the market does well. Do you think if she were to come back in and talk about these investments, she'd still be of that same mind?
I don't know if she'd still be of that same mind, but I think what she does know is that people aren't saving enough for retirement. We have a crisis on our hands, and she's coming up with solutions. Now, has she gone too far? I agree with you. I think it's absolutely too much, but we are going to be in a crisis.
What's too much? The government investing for you?
Taking it all over. Absolutely. That's
Why?
Too much.
Why do you think it's too much?
Well, I do believe in a free market, and I think that most people want to have choice. They don't want to have choice taken away from them. When I'm talking to consumers in the marketplace all the time, Social Security is a model for why we shouldn't allow government to take it entirely over. But what we do when nobody has any safety net underneath them, when Social Security is gone, when people aren't investing by their own admission, about half people aren't saving enough for retirement today. So what are we going to do about it?
What would you do about it?
Well, if they're not saving for retirement already, how is it going to prompt them to save more if you just say, hey, we've got you, we're going to take care of you? We see this all over the place. If you look at education, I have so many people saying that I talk to on college campuses and friends, everyone else, they're not even trying to pay off their interest from their student loans because they just assume it's going to be taken care of.
And isn't that the stuff of Greece? I mean, and that's what's driven a lot of these European Union countries that are in deep doo-doo. What got them in deep doo-doo?
There's no question that we're in deep trouble here. And if we do have the government,
trouble?
If we do have the government take over, we're going to be in trouble as well. But it's time that we have really sophisticated and mature conversations about it.
Would you not like 401ks? I mean, they offer tax advantage. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with 401ks. I happen to love my 401k. I invest in it. The problem isn't with us that do invest in our 401ks. The problem is with all of those folks who don't. And what's going to happen when they get to retirement age and they can't support themselves? We're going to have a crisis anyway. So I think that we need to do is start having responsible conversations now about what we're going to be doing when those things are happening.
Be careful what you lay in motion, though. An entitlement that gets to speak, I don't have to worry about this. The government's got my back, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do have to be really careful here, but I think that the most important thing that we do is we have lots of different ideas around the table so that we come up with a solution that's going to work, that's viable. I'm not saying that this one is
I understand. No, I understand.
Yeah, but I don't argue that if I decided or was forced to give away my money that some people would have money, but you have to be really careful, like you're saying, to not just turn to an emotional appeal on everything, because then where does it end, really? There's a lot of causes out there. There's a lot of these kinds of things that could take over.
To your point, that with health care, whatever, for those who don't have it, we upend it for the vast majority who do. And we might do the same here with this 401k thing.
I think we can't be short-sighted about what we do. I don't think we should overhaul everything, but I think we do need to look at the
government does.
Shouldn't be short-sighted. I think this is kind of a short-sighted plan by kind of overthrowing the entire idea behind the way we've always run things, or supposedly always run things, for just one problem.
All right, ladies, I want to thank you both. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, La La Loco, a California fast food ban that didn't stop folks from that area from still getting fat.